Welcome to this video. Today I'll be playing a rapid game while explaining my thoughts. So right now I want to play the London. Let's put the bishop on f4. Next I want to follow up with the pawn to e3 and perhaps pawn to c3 and develop the knight to f3 as well. That would hand me a very solid London setup. Okay, so he plays e6. I will just continue playing e3. I don't see anything's wrong. If he plays the knight to d5, I will simply retreat my bishop. Okay, so he plays b6, intending to play a move like bishop b7. This is not a problem for me. I can continue with my setup. So I will develop now my knight to f3. Let's see what he does. Bishop to b7, very logical. Aiming to control this long diagonal. I will also continue with my development. I will play now bishop to e2. I was also considering putting the bishop on d3, but I ended up deciding to go here. Okay, so now he plays the move knight to h5. This is a very typical way of trying to attack my bishop. I don't really want to give the bishop right now for the knight, so I will play the move bishop to g5, hitting the queen. Right now I'm calculating if he could have taken on f3, but no, he decided to play bishop to e7. Now I will simply trade the bishops. And now this knight on h5 should be misplaced. So I will now continue with castling, because here I thought perhaps black is coming with something like queen b4 check, hitting my king, hitting the pawn. So instead I will castle to get out of that kind of trouble. So he plays the move pawn to d6. I think what he wants to do is to put the knight on d7, and maybe he wants to castle long, or at least he wants to wait with the king in the center. So now I want to do something with my position, so I think I'll play pawn to c4. The idea is the next move I want to play the knight to c3, and maybe at some point start pushing in the center. Okay, so he plays the knight back to f6. This is very logical because the knight was not well placed there. I will simply continue with my plan of playing knight to c3. Now he could consider to play the move knight to e4, intending to exchange the knights. But he could also play a move like knight d7, just continuing his development. So let's see what he will do. If he plays knight to d7, oh, he plays knight e4, okay. So now if I take here, and he will take, he will have somewhat annoying bishop here, but then I can maybe hit it with my knight. So I think actually I will do it. Another way I could play would to play a move like queen to c2, hitting the knight, but I'm not such a big fan. So I will take this knight. I'm quite sure he will recapture with his bishop. And now my plan is, because this bishop is very annoying here on e4, I want to get rid of it somehow. So for that reason, I'll play now knight to d2, hitting this bishop. And next move, I want to trade these bishops. And maybe it looks like I'm just trading all the pieces, but keep in mind, I still have my pawn on d4. I have a pawn on c4. And I think I have some edge in the center. Also keep in mind that right now I have castled my king, and his king is on e8, kind of stuck. And at the same time, he also hasn't developed this knight on b8. So I think right now I should be doing better here. So let's see what he wants to do. I'm quite sure he will move the bishop. Defending the bishop with a move like f5 looks very suspicious. In general, my thoughts are that moving the f-pawn for no good reason is usually a mistake. So keep that in mind. Okay, right now I'm expecting him to retreat to b7, because if he goes the other way, let's say bishop to g6, I can play the move bishop to f3, and I will target this rook on a8, and I think I would be doing better. But actually I think no matter what he does, it's looking like an edge for me. Simply considering the development advantage, and also and because of the knight on b8 and the king in the center. But he's taking actually quite some time right now. We're playing a rather short game, 10 minutes each, and finally I'm ahead on time, which is always nice. Usually when I'm doing commentary and playing, I'm always suffering on the clock, but right now it's looking quite okay. Okay, so he's not playing any move. Interesting. I think bishop b7 is the most logical. And then I will play, as I said, bishop to b7, bishop to f3. If he tries to close the game, he will be in an annoying pin. My bishop on f3 will be very strong. So, but on the other hand, if he takes my bishop, I will recapture with my queen, and the rook on a8 is in trouble, forcing him probably to make some kind of concession. So no matter what he does, I'm feeling pretty good about my chances. But okay, in the end he played bishop to b7. I will continue with bishop to f3, intending to trade the bishops. And he plays the move c6. So he wasn't so happy to trade these bishops. I think now I want to create some space, some even more space on the queen side. Perhaps with the move b2 to b4. One of the ideas of this is later I can also play a move like a4. And in general, space in chess is usually nice to have. It gives more possibilities, one can say. So now I have to think about, okay, what should I do? Should I play a4? After a4, perhaps he will play a move like a5. Then I need to think, okay, do I want to push pawn to b5? I could do that, but maybe actually he's not in such a big trouble there. So I think I will play a move like rook to b1. And this looks a bit suspicious, but it's keeping an eye that if he plays a move like a5, I can now play the move b5. And if he takes my pawn, I can recapture with the rook. I know it's getting a bit messy now with the arrows, but then he will have a very weak pawn here on b6. And I should be doing better here. Also, if he plays a5, maybe I can consider to... If he plays the move a5, I could also consider taking on a5. And he will still be left with a weakness here on b6. Okay, so he plays the move knight to d7. Okay, that's a bit surprising. Now I could play the move pawn to b5. Like, I could play the move pawn to b5, because if he takes, the bishop on b7 is hanging. But I think he will protect the pawn with some rook, and the edge is not looking too amazing there. So actually, I'm considering to play a move like c5. But then he will probably activate the bishop on a6. So I don't really know. I feel like I could also play the move pawn to a4. And yeah, playing a bit like my initial plans. I think I'll go for that. Pawn to a4. Now I'm also having ideas of playing pawn to a5. And I think now he should probably play the move pawn to a5. Because if I'm getting too much space on the queen side, it's looking rough for black after all. So let's see what he's going to do. I also have some ideas of playing the move pawn to b5, as I said before, but when he plays the move to rook to c8, then maybe it's not such a big deal after all. So let's see. Also keep in mind that black doesn't really want to play the move like pawn to d5, because then the bishop on b7 in general is a problem. So that's one of the reasons that I think I'm better here, is because of this bishop. Okay, so he plays the move a5. This was also somewhat expected. I don't really want him to take on b4, because then I will get a weakness here on a4, and it's not looking too great. So I think I should probably play the move pawn to b5 after all. Right now I'm still making use of this pin, that if he takes the pawn on b5, the bishop is hanging. Okay, so he plays the move rook to c8, and actually I don't really I'm not too happy about what's going on right now. I think I should maybe develop my queen. Just make a waiting move. I could also make some luft with h3. But okay, let's play. Yeah, okay, I'll play h3. I don't really feel like I had a great move there. Let's see what the black wants to do here. So, okay, he could play a move like rook to c7, defending the bishop, so that he's freeing up this weakness on c6. He could also maybe at some point look at playing a move like e5, opening up for his queen. I mean, it's quite an interesting position. Okay, so he goes for rook to c7, which I also somewhat expected. I can now take, if I want, on... I think I should probably take now. It feels like it's the time. I will take a few times. Take one time. Imagine, I don't really want to play the move pawn to d5 because I will create a lot of weak dark squares. So instead, I think I will simply take on c6. And I will follow up now with queen to f3, hitting this rook. And my whole idea is to play the rook to b5. And I will double on this b file because he has this weak pawn here on b6. So I'll play rook to b5 now. I'm following up with my other rook, coming to b1. And I should still be somewhat better, but I think he actually defended very well. And it's maybe not a big deal anymore because he's also very solid. This knight on d7 protects wonderfully the pawn on b6, and also my knight on d2 protects the pawn on c4. So it's probably not going to be so easy to create progress here in this game. But okay, let's see. I can also, yeah, I think now I should continue with my rook to b1, applying at least some pressure to b6, even though I know I'm not going to take this pawn anytime soon. I could also, oh, he placed the move pawn to e5. Wow, I didn't think much about this, but maybe it's actually a great move. Okay, I'm not sure because it's also creating some weaknesses. Like for example, I have this d5 square now, but can I make any use of it? Because if I now play the move pawn to d5, he will get the c5 square. I'm not so happy about it. Yeah, maybe actually he's sort of outplaying me a little bit here. I guess I could play some strange move like queen to e4, trying to make use of some kind of pin. I think I'll do that actually. Okay, let's go for it. And now I'm making use of this pin here on to the queen. I mean, right now the position is looking quite equal, but I guess the time will be quite a determining factor. I actually want to play a 10+5 game, but I didn't get any pairings, so I had to go for 10+0 in the end. Okay, so my knight is tied, his knight is tied, but he could play a move like knight to f6, hitting my queen on e4. And then I have to retreat somehow. I could play queen to d3. I was also thinking about queen to f5, but I'm a bit scared that... I guess he plays the move. Plays this one, queen to f6. Interesting. So now I don't really... I'm not sure what to do. I think I'll play a move like queen g4. You know, when you're not sure, just attack something. Now let's see what he will do about it. I guess he will probably retreat like with queen to e7, yeah. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, let's repeat one time and then let's try to find something better. Okay, so he's up for the repetition. I don't really want to make a draw here. It's not really what this video is about. So let's play a dubious move here. Like play a move like rook to d5. I feel like this is not a great move, but I could also, yeah, let's try it. Because right now when he moves his queen, he will have this knight f6 with tempo. On the other hand, I had to try something. I want to shake up the game a bit. So let's see what he does actually. Like this move doesn't really have a threat, but Okay, so he goes here with the queen. So he's intending knight to f6. Okay. So probably I should maybe play my queen back now. I think I'll do that. Yeah, I'll go here. Oh, because if I can also move my rook at some point and play d5. Maybe I could have taken actually. Here maybe I could have taken here and played d5. Hitting the rook, hitting the queen. I don't know. I have many options actually. So let's see what he will do now. It's getting a bit tense now. I mean, we're approaching the 2-minute mark. But the position is still quite exciting. I guess if he plays a move like... Oh, he takes. Wow. I don't think that's good. I think I will take, and if he plays e4, I can trade the queens. Okay, I should simply take here. Now I should be a bit careful what I'm doing. But if I take, he will take with the knight, I guess. But okay, so the problem, I will play queen d1. No, I think I should just take actually. Let's take this one. If he takes with the knight, I'll play queen to d1. And also this b6 pawn is weak, the d6 pawn is weak. And as long as I'm not getting checkmated here on the king side, which I think is quite unlikely because of my king, I should be doing excellent here. Because this knight, it looks great, but it's actually not really attacking too much. Okay, so now he's defending with the rook. That's a good move, I think. So I guess I can play a move like rook to b5 if I want. I should be winning here, but I still need to find out how to do it properly. Okay, let's try to play the rook to b5, hitting this pawn on b6. If he goes defensive, I think I can now trade the queens with queen to d5. I'm intending to go for the queen trade here because I will be able to hit his pawn on d6 with both of my rooks. And even though he will probably get 2 passed pawns on the knight, I think he will not be in time to move them forward. Okay, so he plays rook to c5. That's a bit surprising. Yeah, I think I will now take the queen. Now the question is what I should do. I think I should actually just... I could play rook to d1, but then he'll play rook back to c6. I think I will actually just take this rook. The rook is going to be much stronger than the knight now. So here I just have to figure out how to do it. I can play rook here. Should be good. Okay, let's play rook to d1, activating the rook. Now probably he'll play knight to e5, yeah, I guess that. And now I can play rook to d6, hitting the pawn on e6, hitting the pawn on b6. And he will now play knight c4 to protect the pawn. But I see no reason not to take this pawn. And I can play now with the rook to c6. And I have we have the same amount of pawns, so let's continue with the king here. He plays the move king d7, I have rook to g6. And as long as he doesn't get a queen with his pawns, which I think should be quite unlikely, I should be winning. Okay, so he plays this move. Now I think it's very important simply to take this pawn here on b6. Next move I will go for the a5 pawn. Let's play the move rook b5. Sorry, I will take this pawn and I should be winning here. Let's now take. He'll probably go here now. I mean, this endgame is winning. The only thing that could probably cost me is probably the time. But okay, so he goes there. I will play king e2. Maybe I can bring my rook here. I mean, objectively, I'm clearly winning here. Let's play a move like g4. Now he has also a weakness on h6. Play my rook here. Something like this. Play the pawn to f4. So as long as I don't play a move like king d2, plundering a knight fork, I should be winning here. King to d2. Now, because of the pawn, he doesn't have the fork anymore. Okay, so I can even probably just take here now. That would be... there's no reason to do it. I'll just give him a check. And take the pawn on h6. Okay, so the only problem right now is the time. I have no time. Let's go here. Okay, rook c4. He will play knight b4 now, probably. Oh, I blundered that actually. Let's go here. Does he have any way to win now? No, he doesn't. Okay, I have to be fast here. Okay, so he's trying to flag me. Okay, I gave him the rook in the end. If he takes my rook, I'll make a queen. So actually this was really close. I only had 1 second left. But okay, the main aim was to explain the opening. So I just decided to play the London game. After e6, e3, I'll play knight f3 and bishop e2. That's one way to play the setup. So let's just quickly go over what happened in this game. So he decided to hit my bishop here on f4. And I don't want to give the bishop for the knight because this is my London bishop. It's grade 1. So that's why I played the move bishop to g5. He played bishop e7 and we traded the bishops. And now you can see this knight on h5 is not having too much fun. It cannot go to f4 because of the pawn on e3. And if it will have to retreat again to f6, he simply used too much time with the knight. So let's go over the game quickly. So we traded some pieces and also traded the bishops. And I had an advantage here in the middle game. I took space, a4, b5. But then it got very complicated and probably the position was only slightly better for me. But then he played a very surprising exchange sacrifice. I played a bit shaky move rook to d5. And then he played rook takes c4. And I think this is probably a losing mistake. He should simply try to keep waiting here. Maybe a move like queen to e7 or something. And the game is about equal. But after he took this exchange and we opened up the game, the power of the rooks simply became too strong. And I ended up winning the game. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope you will be here again for another one. So see you around.